Happy Friday. It's me, Teach Z. Also, happy 1010 portal. What? How did that sneak up on us? I feel like last I looked, it was sometime in August. Happy 1010 portal. It's an amazing time for new beginnings. It's an amazing time to have really beautiful energetic shifts. Today, I'm going to be talking about living in bliss within your divine flow. I'm also going to be talking about living within your divine feminine as well and manifestation, since Friday is all about self-love, Shakti, energy. And as many of you know, I am a child of Oshun. And I teach on feminine energy quite a bit. Everybody holds feminine energy, so this is not like a gender thing. The duality is in everyone. And the duality is required for manifestation. So I'm going to be sharing some notes on that as well. Hi, happy 1010. How are you? I'm going to go ahead and jump straight in. Well, also for folks who are tuning in and as more folks join, what is your vibe today? How is your energy for this 1010 portal? And also shout out to Shantae. It's their birthday today. So happy 1010 birthday. Woo! So proud of you. Someone who is in the Fabulous Z School for the Gifted. I am marvelous. Awesome. I love that word marvelous. I feel like people don't use it enough, but it's definitely up there. I haven't heard it in a while. I like that vibe. So the core intention for today's live is to talk about returning to ease, returning to softness and pleasure as your natural state of power. And when we think about power, we think about fullness and the energy that lives within us to be able to show up in our entirety, in our full heart capacity, to be able to bring what we are wanting into fruition in the physical realm. But it's also about living an empowered lifestyle. It's about being ethical, connecting with your ancestors, reclaiming your spiritual path, and also building financial sovereignty. Hi, Zawadi, how are you? A blissful 1010. How are you since last night? Creating and kind of just flowing. Beautiful. What did you create? There's so much creation energy right now. It's so much creation in so many senses. Like, I feel like every time I go out and talk to people, they are either creating things in your business or their businesses creating newness in their lives. I think I've met like a handful of people who recently found out they were pregnant. My hairstylist was literally talking about it too. So I'm like, I just love all this creation. Like, there's creation energy everywhere. And it's a beautiful thing to witness, and it's beautiful to see people happy, because I know there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the world right now. And so it's important that we remember that we can create bliss, happiness, peace, and elevate each other, because that's what we really need in this world. And the other thing I'm going to touch on for today in terms of core intentions is the divine feminine doesn't chase. They receive, magnetize, and allow. Zawadi, feel free to share how your vibe is today. And folks who are joining right now, how is your vibe? How are you doing? Copper and crystal jewelry and organizing my space. I love that. There's someone here who makes copper jewelry. It's so fun. I don't know how to make it, but I love supporting folks who do make it. It's such a beautiful gift. I actually knew someone in Charlotte who would make copper jewelry, but they would mix it with Gullah Geechee like wands. I had a Gullah Geechee wand, or like a staff. It was the prettiest thing I think I have ever seen. I appreciate people who can work with copper, and copper is very grounding. And so I feel like there's like certain energies in the world who are like surfacing right now to be able to help assist in the healing journey with their crafts, but also the very specific element that their soul is meant to work with. I'm alive and grateful. Thanks for asking. Hope you're feeling better. I'm definitely in my feminine energy too. Yeah, I'm feeling fabulous. I was feeling a little bit tired yesterday, but that was because I was up late the last couple of days. having too much fun. So I am amazing. I'm super happy. Like, again, just grateful, just as you are feeling. Glad you are in your feminine energy too. Yes, it's so much you can create. Yeah, with copper. So cool. I love copper. It's one of my favorites. I have a very cool copper bracelet as well. So a few things that I wanted to talk about. The first one is bliss. So realizing that there is safety still in softness, releasing the need to control outcomes. This is something that comes up so often on people's manifestation journey, is allowing themselves to be able to still receive the life that they are desiring, and that safety still exists within that realm. Because it is an energy that maybe you're not familiar with, there is an a need for the ego to be able to try and protect you from bliss because it doesn't understand bliss. It doesn't physically mean that you are unsafe. And so make sure that as you are doing your self-care, as you are journeying with Shakti, as you are journeying with your ancestors, that you also can cultivate and curate in your space around you, with the community that is around you, with the practices that you have, the way you eat. Make sure you can curate a space that literally is safe for you. It's one of the first things that we do in More Than Worthy before we journey for 6 months, because that safety is going to not only allow you to release, but it's going to allow you to be able to receive your manifestations and lean more deeply into your divine feminine flow. Finishing laundry, cooked today. I also had to pick up my daughter at school early because she was not feeling well. Oh, I hope they're feeling better. You got a lot done. Good to hear. Thanks, Awadi. Hi, Elle. I just posted a collective reading, having some allergies. Hope not sick, but definitely purging, cleansing right now. Did you get a neti pot? Elle, I don't remember if we talked about getting a neti pot for you. Definitely use a neti pot if you haven't already. Yes, Ashay. More Than Worthy has been great. Aww! For anybody who's interested, More Than Worthy is my 6-month generational healing program. It's also for ancestral healing. It's a whole journey. It's a whole beautiful journey about coming to self, about manifestation. We take quantum leaps. I look at your whole life. I look at your menstrual cycle, your family dynamics, or if you're wanting to have children. Like, it's a very comprehensive program. And I'm also trained in many aspects of life around emotional intelligence, crucial conversations, herbalism, like all sorts of stuff. So I'll be able to hold space for you. That makes me so happy, Elle. You've been doing a phenomenal job. There's also someone else who just joined recently, but they said they were going to share the news in the chat for Z School for the Gifted. So I'm excited for them as well. If you are interested in joining More Than Worthy, I highly recommend you do it right now. There's going to be some shifts coming in November. So definitely book your appointment. Start before mid-November if you would like to catch this wave. Oh no, I should get the saline packets for my saline rinse. Let me see what brand. Okay, perfect. Yes, get your rinses in. Hi, Claire. How are you? How are you? How are you? See, I'm feeling extra triggered today with like old programming and fear. I'm going easy on myself. Definitely, I'm telling myself I could choose different. Also, you can totally choose different. And something I just want to say for everybody, right? You can always take the time to thank your fear when you are manifesting bliss, when you are creating a state of peace. There's going to be many times, many times that old emotions like fear are going to come up unexpectedly, right? It's also a portal day today. So make sure you are grounding, but it's because you're creating safety. So honoring yourself by saying thank you and telling your body and your energy and your spirit and your ancestors and your guides and universe, thank you for revealing to me another part that needs to go, right? Another part that I can say goodbye to, another part that doesn't align with my highest self, so that you can honor it, let go, and call in what you are wanting. So yeah, definitely, sit with that fear, get to know it, and then, send it on its way. 1111, it's a sign. Totally a sign. Hi, how's it going? Thank you for this reminder. Absolutely, absolutely. And for folks who are just joining, how are you doing? How's your energy on this amazing 1010 portal? Which, that was perfect timing with talking about safety when you are learning to live in a frequency of bliss, right? It's that the ego thinking that the other shoe is going to drop, and so we really have to take a lot of care and compassion with ourselves on our journey, so that way we feel safe enough to allow the fear to alchemize into something else rather than ignoring it, right? Like some people ignore it or they force their way through, but the best thing to do is to treat it like something that you love, even if you're releasing it, because it also conditions you that anytime I meet an emotion or a circumstance in my life that may be a little bit challenging, I'm going to meet it with love and compassion. And I'm going to say, thank you so much for helping me up until this point. And now I'm going to let you go. For those who have been in Z School for the Gifted, the releasing technique with wrapping your arms and things like that to be able to let it go is going to help you with something like that. The next thing I wanted to bring up is feminine energy thrives in trust. So the more you relax, the more the universe provides. So this aspect, right, is going to be really important for folks who tend to overgive or have driven themselves into the ground by feeling like they had to prove themselves, whether or not they called it that or not, or whether or not you were on that journey. It's another way of pushing your manifestations away, right? When spirit or your ancestors are calling you to rest or be in a season of reflection, because your seasons will change, right? Your flow is going to change. It's because they want to bring something new to you. And so you are being also put into a season of learning how to trust the unseen and trust that you are able to manifest and call in what it is that you are desiring. So the divine feminine, the divine flow thrives in this area in terms of relaxation. So if you feel like there's something you're manifesting and it's not coming in, maybe go get a massage, maybe go to the beach, pour into yourself, clear your calendar that day, clear a week off so that you can actually receive the information. I know I've shared this before, but there was a time in my life when I was so stressed about my business and money. But I would force myself to take a nap. And every time I took a nap, I made money while I was sleeping. And so I very quickly learned that my relaxation was a requirement of my manifestations. So be sure that if you are trying to manifest or bring something into your life, even if it's a way of living, a softer way of living, a new community, better communication with your partner, all of that is going to be easier for you to do when you are in a state of relaxation, right? Because you're not holding the other frequencies that can be a little challenging. I am deep in fear and ego resistances to creating bliss and safety, but Kaya and I are in it together and feeling through the changes. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm glad that you and Kai have each other. You have a lot on your plate right now. And so continue to work through it together. Absolutely, right? A lot of the tools that we talked about before are going to be important right now. I am proud of myself for what I've done today so far. So I'm going to thank my fear also so I can get groceries and saline packets. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And then there's that phrase, I still do it scared. Do it scared. It's all right. Right. It's an emotion. It's like if you're not ready to leave yet, we're going out that door together. It wants me to have external validation to do anything. So I'm going to journal about this. Beautiful. I'm glad you have that awareness. Yes, I am at more peace than I've ever been before. I set more boundaries too with others. Yes. Yes. Projecting their fears and agendas onto me. Beautiful. Yeah. And, the more you do that for yourself, the more you're going to find that you're not going to be as fearful because it probably wasn't even yours to begin with. And everybody has to come to a point in their life where it's like either I'm going to set this boundary and choose myself so I can live in bliss, or I'm just going to allow someone else's fear to fill up my aura and I'm just going to live in that bubble of fear. Right? So continue to set those boundaries as a step of self-love, as a step of trust, as a step of like, I am worthy and deserving of a better life. And so this is how I begin to create it. That is so me right now. See, everybody's here for a reason. Oh my God, love that. Yes, relaxation is a requirement. I meditated with Orca. I thought it said okra for some reason. Orca sounds and 432 hertz sound. It was beautiful. I love that. I love that. Hertz music is powerful. And for anybody who wants to tune in, the Hidden Fairies soundtrack, which you can find on Spotify, that I helped create, is set to 528 hertz. So if you want to listen to it, it's 30 minutes long and you can just sit and vibe. Sometimes I listen to it while I'm creating or doing things around the house. It's a very magical sound. So definitely go check it out. I can also put it in the chat if anybody wants. The next thing I want to talk about is self-worth equals receptivity. So you are not proving, you are allowing. I cannot stress that enough. If you've been on a journey where you grew up in a household where you had to earn love, it's likely in everything else that you do, which is why I created More Than Worthy, right? More Than Worthy is your entire life. We look at your whole life because if you have one habit that shows up in your relationship, it's literally in everything because it's in you. So it's impossible for it to not show up in other places. So learning about self-worth and the deeper emotions behind, people pleasing and having to prove yourself are going to, rather than the language or energetic need to, in a sense, overwork yourself for the thing that you are bringing in, right? Like proving yourself is another way to say earn. I need to earn it, right? Rather than being in the frequency of, I allow this into my life because I deserve it. I fully deserve it, right? Where are your standards at right now? I would love to know from everybody in the chat, like, how do you feel about receiving support and love from other people? And I want you to be super unbiased about it and be honest. You can put it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, oh no, I'm like not even in a place to trust anybody, and 10 being like, I fully trust, I fully receive, I have no issues with it. Write it in the chat because I feel like it's really important for this conversation today. Like intuitively, it feels like there is some awareness there, and a lot of the times learning about your own worthiness is quite a weird journey. You learn about it by going through your spiritual by going through your spiritual journey, because your spiritual journey includes healing. And what's interesting is that it usually looks like people become aware of it when they start to see people living a life that they would like to live, and so they start comparing themselves, and so immediately the ego starts to tell them how they can achieve it. And then something doesn't quite work because they're operating from the ego. And then they get to a place where they're comfortable sometimes asking for help, or they're guided, like their intuition begins, like just that little curiosity in them leads them someplace else. To be honest, the deities are helping me with receiving, trusting, and feeling worthy. I believe Kuan Yin and Oshun and others are helping me big time. I'm still letting other projections mess with me. I feel I am aware of this happening. So that's why I'm creating stronger boundaries so I can have more clarity. I'm really deeply feeling like it's okay to be donated to, for example. Yeah. And also to receive a regular income, right? Like allowing all sorts of things to come in, not just money, friendship, deeper levels of connection with partners, community. Add an 8. Thank you, Claire, for using a number. Add an 8. And also got some martyr beliefs that I need to help everyone else receive first before I receive. Yes, martyrdom is very common also with the divine feminine. And learning how to receive on a deeper level, right? Because society teaches us that the femme energy in the world is the one that has to give of love all the time. Like we are the ones that have to do it. We are the ones that have to nurture. We are the ones that have to give birth. We are the one, like there's all these things. And there's not a lot of conditioning beliefs, especially in the States, around help a femme or like nurture a femme, and then the femme can go choose to do what they want to do. Like that nurturing aspect is not a thought that usually comes up within uh like US society in general. In fact, it's probably the last, right? One of the things that many of us, especially as activists, are constantly looking at is the abuse that happens to the female body or the femme body in general. Um, People taking without asking, people taking away permission. And so we go through a long journey if you are lucky enough, right, to have that awareness, or if your path leads you there, of reclamation of your own permission and what you stand for and deservingness, that worthiness. You have to literally practice it every single day, and saying no within a system that doesn't always allow you to say no, right? Even down to paying taxes and all those things. It's like a requirement. It's like a requirement. There's many things built into the US system that if you do not give, you are punished. So it's heavily felt within femme energy. And so I share that as to say, like, it's okay to hold more compassion for yourself as a community, because we are navigating a system that is built that way. And you just have to take it one day at a time. I'm totally open to it. I just pray for genuine and deeper friendships and relationships. Your prayers are strong, Zawadi. They're coming. Definitely get outside. Yes, to receive a regular income, soul tribe, deeper connections. I wanted to tell everyone to F off also about wanting to know more about what I'm doing or projecting unhelpful things onto me. That's so funny. Something that helps, because sometimes when that energy comes up, when people are being like a little bit abrasive or nosy, right? And instead of shifting into the F off energy, alchemize it and change it into, wow, it seems like they really care about me, but I don't feel comfortable sharing that information, right? So taking a softer lens to it, not saying you can't do the other one, but sometimes it'll help you release and create a healthier boundary. Even if you don't know if they really care about you or they're just being nosy, that's something that you can say, right? And then you give yourself the freedom, and also make note that if there is any F off or like frustration that comes up, it's because it needs to come up, but it needs to be released. Kai has been challenging that though by giving to me and our home nonstop. Beautiful. I love Kai. Y'all are so great. I'm glad that they are really stepping up to the plate. It sounds, that's exciting. Yes, I'm always nurturing, loving, giving. I really appreciate when people are happy around me. Happiness is such a gift, especially when you're living in bliss, right? It makes it so much easier to exist in the world when people are happy. And it helps you feel more safe. I'm going to drink some tea. Receiving an income from being in alignment, 1, 2, 3 on the clock. I've had the download of I get to enjoy living now in alignment with my spirituality. Absolutely. You should definitely enjoy it. The next point I want to talk about is bliss is a frequency. So bliss is not a goal. You calibrate to it through joy, sensuality, and devotion to your own peace. For powerhouses or my spiritual warriors or folks who have had to defend themselves for a very long time on their path, sometimes living a path of bliss or a life of bliss, the transition can be a little bit challenging or a little bit shaky, because it's almost like sometimes people have the tendency to create it like a literal goal, as something to achieve. And as I said, it's a frequency, which means it's a mindset shift. It's an embodiment. So if you choose to embody the energy is there for you, right? Like, it's a change. It's not like, I literally see, like, it's not like you going out and gathering tokens and stacking those tokens and saying, I've got bliss, right? That's still external. That's still external. Bliss is very much so achieved from the inside, and then your inside frequency is reflected outside of you. So check in with yourself and look at your life, right? What is it reflecting to you right now? Is it reflecting back chaos? Is it reflecting people that you don't necessarily want in your community? Is it reflecting hardship? Like, what is it reflecting? Because that is going to be the key of whether or not you are actually in a bliss frequency, or if you are in a state of peace, or if you are in a state of openness, receiving, healing, all of that, right? Because at the end of the day, you co-create with the universe, and to be in flow, you must be in the energy, right? And bliss is something that you elevate to. Lower frequencies like anger, fear, all those upset are down here. Higher frequencies like joy, bliss, happiness, wealth, love, right? You have to elevate to that. You literally have to change your energy to match the frequency. So then you become the embodiment, right? And like energy always finds like energy. So if you are that energy, all of you outside and what magnetizes towards you is exactly the same. So if you continue to be in that state of bliss, you continue to meet people who are blissful. If you are that powerhouse entrepreneur that is still living in bliss, you begin to meet other entrepreneurs who are doing the same. Same thing with relationships. If you are someone who is a very loving person, you're going to be in relationship with people who are extremely open to love, right? If you've worked on yourself, they would have worked on themselves. So if your reality isn't reflecting what you are wanting, it's because you have not achieved that mindset shift yet, or that frequency shift yet. Hi, how are you? Hello. Why are you so it's not my camera, it's my internet. I don't know. Internet flows. Yeah, internet flows. I'm also debating on if I'm gonna stream as much. So might see some shifts coming. So pay attention to the calendar. I'm going to be dropping it again in the community tab. And I'm going to also be likely taking a break very soon so I can recuperate some energy and come back with some new and fresh stuff for you all. The last thing I want to talk about is healing the hustle, which we kind of tapped into. So when you feel the urge to force or overdo, breathe and remember you are already enough. So if you find that you are the type of person who shifts into, I just need to, like, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it always starts with that sentence of, I just need to, like, insert overdoing, about to not rest. If you ever use that phrase, or if you feel that mentality that just kind of comes on out of nowhere, rather than being in more of like a Pentacles energy, when you think of tarot, like being consistent, being that Knight of Pentacles who's slowly moving forward, but consistently moving forward. If that's not a language that you are aware of, and maybe you're like, I'm going to full rest, or I'm going to like move too fast, see if you can find a happy medium in between and chunk things out for yourself, especially if you identify as neurodivergent, or you have other learning type things that you have in your life that you face. For myself, being neurodivergent, and I always talk about ADHD, being able to move at a pace that is good for me and stable over the last, like, I don't know, 5 years has made it easier for me to be able to build steadier income, to live a life of bliss, to move overseas, like all of these things. So keep that in mind as you are doing stuff, right? Obviously, take your rest and then get back to building your pentacles, or get back to building stability in your life with relationships or love, or get back to healing yourself in whatever capacity you need to heal yourself. Um, and continue to do your somatic work, because it's going to be really important for staying within your divine flow, within bliss. One of the best things I can say for the divine feminine or divine femmes is nature is going to be your best friend. It's literally your best friend. If you are not connecting with nature, you are not connecting with yourself as often as you need to be. If you have to schedule in nature, you are not connecting with an energy of bliss, right? Nature is like one of the highest frequencies along with love. So it should come as a high priority to you. Also, to help open your gifts. Like, nature is constantly speaking, nature is constantly alchemizing, and you are nature as well, right? You are made of elements, and you need to be with the elements. um, and when folks are having trouble being in nature, it's because of just conditioning that has told them that it's unsafe. But you have to be able to bridge that gap, right? Of like returning to the self and the energy that you are meant to be in. There is no manifestation without nature. There is no us without nature, right? Like, we need oxygen to breathe, because we are all elemental. That's why there's elemental healing. So if you do not have a practice for yourself, or have elements on your altar, or you regularly get outside, you are literally not just cutting off a better supply of oxygen because there's more nature out there. It's cleaner. You know what I mean? Like, you are also cutting off your spiritual connection. You are doing that. Nature is readily available even if you walk outside, right? And I know sometimes people live in cities. I've lived in cities, like, and I was still able to connect. So you have to ask yourself if you're also sabotaging yourself because of the distractions that you've surrounded yourself with, right? Like, be better at prioritizing your mental health and your spirituality, so that you can actually manifest what you are wanting. The faster you can prioritize yourself, the faster you can actually create this life of bliss. Hi, 333. Us are so pretty that I want to see you. I feel like I am being cheated at this point. Oh, wait, what? I don't get the beginning of your sentence. It is just that okay. You are so pretty that I wanted to see you in your new hairstyle. And got it. Thank you so much. Yes, nature 100%, definitely. I was feeling called to a rune. I have also, it's apparently just protection, and felt called to put it in my pocket, guided to trust my intuition. Yeah, always trust it. I love reading runes. I love them so much. Yes, I'm now embracing the beauty of nature. It almost gets so deeply profound for me too. Absolutely. Right. And remember that you were also looking at a reflection of you, but I cannot stress it enough that the indoors is not nature. So everybody, please make sure, especially today, because it is a 10/10 portal, please make sure that you are getting out in nature, that you are prioritizing yourself. Allow these new codes to seep into your energy. Allow the sun to heal you. Allow yourself to receive the vitamins and things from the sun, from nature. Eat really clean. I cannot stress that enough. Like, please do yourself a favor, because this is Self-Care Friday. Like, everybody needs to eat as clean as you can is one of the most respectful things you can do for your body, and it's going to help heal you. Between nature and eating nature, you become like very high frequency, and it's a beautiful journey when you can connect with nature in that way, right? Like nature is what gives us life, just like food is also a part of that. So when you are going to reach for the things that are not healthy for you, like have a moment there and ask yourself if that's the best thing to put into your body right now, or if you can choose to be your highest version of self, right? Like when you go to the store, or if you go to farmers markets and you have access to that, make conscious decisions. I know that sometimes, eating organic and all those things can be, you know, pricey at times. I know that. So you begin with what you do have access to, depending on where you live. And I remember not being able to buy a lot of things, but it had to start somewhere, right? It has to start somewhere. Yeah, I'm also talking to trees and animals too. I love that. And I paused before I went to drink caffeine a day ago. I was happy. I asked myself why I wanted to or felt I had to drink it. I love that. Yeah, sometimes it's just ingrained into us, into humanity, because it's nature, right? It's nature to condition the body into doing something. And so, it's why in More Than Worthy, the whole program is about slowing down. So you can actually not be in the energy of just taking actions out of old conditioned way of living, so that you can recondition and do your reframing, do your healing, and reflect in every moment of your life. So then your life becomes this flow of alignment, right? Alignment is not you just waking up one day and doing one action that aligns, right? Like that's the goal part. That's the like trying to prove part. When you are in alignment with your divine femme flow, everything becomes synchronistic. It's not just, oh, I didn't get any synchronicities today. If that's the case, it's like you're out of your divine flow. Everything is peacefully moving, everything is shifting, everything becomes easy, because that's where your mindset is, that's where your energy is, that's where your manifestations are, and things literally just begin to show up. I wrote on a piece of paper new hair, like things for braiding, like all those things, and then I didn't do anything. My phone went bing, and someone had followed me somewhere and in the city that I'm in, and they were a hair braider. And I was like, fabulous, let's go, right? Like everything you do throughout the day becomes perfectly synchronistic, even down to the time, even down to your phone. Like everything is in perfect harmony, and it becomes this like infinity, right? You're going through life living with ease. And yes, there's going to be times where it might feel a little bit challenging, but then challenge yourself to be able to be the observer versus seeing it as a challenge and seeing it as an opportunity. I'm not sleeping well, super sleep deprived. I'm hearing Gucci. Oh, I'm wearing Gucci eye bags these days. Oh no. What's been happening? Are you just getting a lot of downloads? Are you eating something? When did it start? Tell Madame Z all the things. Teach Z, Madame Z. Get on the magic school bus. Do tell, do tell. I want to know about these Gucci eye bags. I think I got a mosquito bite back here. Oh no, it's my bathing suit. JK. Definitely got a mosquito bite on my leg. That is so freaking itchy. But feel free to write in the chat. Is this making sense for you? Let me know. Loving this topic. Yay! I can relate. Emerald Dream. I finally slept last night because I was so dang tired. I passed out before 10 p.m. and woke up at 8 a.m. Yeah, sometimes you have to catch up on sleep, right? You got to get your rest in. Getting ready for bed earlier is actually helping. And yes, this makes sense. See, oh, good. Yes, your wind down routine is so important for divine flow. And even just like it's, I know sometimes people are like, I just want to be in the flow and I want to do whatever I want to do. And it's like, yes, you will be able to do whatever you want to do. But if you are on a generational healing journey, if you are elevating your energy, you have to also understand that you are going to face scarcity. You're going to face fear. You're going to face change. One of the best things you can do for that shift and elevation on your ascension is to be a little bit more regimented with your schedule so you have some sort of consistency that allows you to curate safety. You need safety to make these shifts. And so one of the most common things I see, like a common mistake that people make, is I just want to go day to day. And I'm like, you literally have severe anxiety. I don't think that's a good idea, right? Like we have to sometimes take that approach, a psychological approach to certain things while also infusing spirituality into it. Because people will say, oh, I feel overwhelmed. I feel all these things. And I'm like, that's because you have no anchoring. You have no clear sense of direction. You are believing that the universe is going to tell you what to do. And so you're living from a state of not being empowered, right? Which is the opposite of divine flow. It's the opposite of divine flow. If anything, it's being in the divine energy water and being a solid rock, right? Like you have to flow with the energy. But remember, creating routines and rituals. That's why so many like spiritual practitioners, especially teachers like myself, we have rituals that we do consistently so that our elevation can continue to happen and we can stay up there. And we also believe in health, health and all these things. The shadow work I've dived into is now getting fun. I'm into some deep work with God and trust, and how my parents were an overlap from my distrust for God, but me trusting myself has deepened my God connection. I love that. Oh, parents. Parents. I'm going to save that for another live. I love that you're doing that deep healing. Oof. Oof. Realizing I see anchors as limiting my freedom rather than something that keeps me safe in the storms. Yeah. I mean, literally like a boat, right? Like people are like, I want to manifest. I want to be free. It's like, okay, drop your boat in the middle of an ocean and see how it goes. Right? Like, if you need to be able to like navigate the waters, you need an anchor to also help yourself. You need to anchor. You're not just gonna have your boat float all over, because it's anxiety, right? Like, oh, no, no, we don't do that. And again, as I mentioned, like that anchoring is one of the strongest self love practices that you can do. Like anytime I feel that my energy becomes a little distorted or tilts a little bit too far, I like push everything away so that I can consciously and energetically put my anchor back down into the ground. And usually when I do that, I'll easily be able to figure out what happened because I can reflect. I can feel the stability. I can feel when that energy is not mine. And then I take solitude. That is something that I always do every single day. And if I've somehow let someone slip by, or there's someone in a close proximity that is quite chaotic, the minute I take solitude, they freak. And I'm like, there we are. Right. But you have to be able to anchor and see it as your friend. That is why pretty much all my meditations when we're doing ascension work always start with working with Pachamama, because you cannot continue to be in the ethereal and be on a spiritual journey without your anchors. You need an anchor. And it's also can become quite toxic, right? Like it can become very, very toxic to people around you if you are not consciously choosing to remain stable as well, right? I've seen many people stay too long in the ethereal and think that it's the place to be. It's not the place to be. You just think it's a place to be, but life is still tangible. You are tangible. Like trees have roots. You have to begin to really sink into the energy of nature. Things that are meant for stability, like trees and all these things, even in the ocean, plants have roots. Plants have roots because they need to stay grounded. It's their nourishment. It's their freedom, right? It's their growth. It's their own nutrients. It's our plug into our nutrients. We need it. We need nature. We need these ties. And when we say cut the cords, like we cut the cords to unhealthy ties to things around us, but it's a requirement to be able to live a healthy life and also be spiritual without being toxic to yourself or a danger to other people, right? Like, and folks who are a little bit more anxious sometimes have the hardest time doing that because they've had to function in a world that gives them a lot of anxiety. And so they believe that when they anchor into something, it means feeling stuck, but it doesn't. You're like a balloon that's just floating around right now, and you have to be able to ground. Like you're anxious because like you haven't fully anchored within yourself. And so you're trying to exist in a world that also is sometimes not anchored. And so it has to start with you, right? Yes, yes, I am vegan and can definitely say that living a plant-based life has been the best lifestyle choice I have made. I recently published a vegan cookbook. I love that, called a vegan vagina. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. It's a magical vagina. It's so true. We are plants. We are. I'm hearing that song. We are, we are. I did observe that, see that your meditations start with visual grounding. Yeah, I always do that because I know as a spiritual teacher, like how to keep people's manifestations in line. In line. Do you know how many teachers will just like sometimes plop you into meditations without easing you in? And there is a time and a place. Like if you are really good at grounding, doing certain meditations or hypnotherapy can help with that. But if you are doing literal ascension work, astral travel, which we usually do, or going into the Akashic records, like all that kind of stuff, you got me all fucked up. I'm like, I'm not going to teach you about spirituality and open your clairs and then have one of you like crack, like have a mental crack because you weren't grounded. Like it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. And that's why every time in class, I'm constantly checking in with you about your rituals. What are you doing day to day? Are you getting outside, right? There is a mental health part to spirituality that keeps missed, or keeps getting missed. And it's like, I'm going to drag you out by your feet. Like you have to be outside. You cannot be the hermit and successfully thrive in life and be a part of this world. And especially for folks who feel like they're here to make an impact, you cannot make an impact in the rest of the world unless your path is literally to be inside without going out in nature, right? And obviously there's folks who have limitations with mobility and that kind of stuff, but I'm not talking to that. Like I'm talking about you being a part of the world energetically and physically within community. It's dangerous to be so isolated. Yeah, the anchor. Yeah, I think I sometimes get stuck in between worlds of being the experiencer and then the one being the observer. It is definitely a daily reminder for me. Yeah, it's a balance. You just have to know when to turn on and turn off, because sometimes if you are too ethereal and you sit in the observer, you like blast off into the universe and you're like, what's real? What's my reality? Woo woo. And then it's like, snap back, homie. You are still human. Like real talk though. Like I want to be really honest with people because there's this fine line in spirituality and on YouTube and all these things. That's why I'm very mindful about the things that I say and how I teach, because while yes, I say I am the fairy medicine woman, I am all these things, I am a psychic mediumship, I understand that I am a human being and I am also energy, and I am a part of nature, and I understand like psychology and all these things which are necessary to exist in this world in a healthy manner, right? It is not just about spirituality. Colonized spirituality is about bypassing. That's spending too much time in the ethereal. But understanding that you are a part of this world and how you show up will directly impact not just yourself and those around you is a decolonized way of living and way healthier for you and your manifestations, right? So I really challenge you all as you are building your life and going with this flow of bliss to look at things a little bit differently and ask yourself, why is it that I sometimes feel like I just want to be not anchored, or I just want to like be in the ethereal or not take action for myself? Like there's many things going on here. It's not just you're tired. There's other stuff. Sometimes maybe you're tired if you're overworking. But then there's other things like, are you sabotaging yourself? Are you trying to escape? Are you spiritually bypassing? Do you need extra help so someone like myself can help guide you out of it? Do you actually need to be anchored so that you can get your mental health into a place that is healthy for you to make the decisions? Are you chemically experiencing something that needs to be addressed, right? Get a little bit more curious about who you are and take the path that you need to help yourself move forward. And there's a lot of people in the world right now who also have deep depression and do not have the resources or the know-how or the awareness to be able to address it. And so they spend most of their time inside claiming that they are in this spiritual container. It's like, yes, you are, and go be a part of life and go live and be with the sun and feed yourself and get into the water, and you are not meant to be by yourself, and right, it's and something else, not I am the divine, I am the only thing that exists, I am. No, that's ego. That's ego. You are also a human in this world. Participate in the world so you can actually be happy, right? And your manifestations will start to come in, but you have to live empowered with your spirituality. I used to ground though through the sauna and swimming in the ocean. I need a new ritual now as the sauna isn't safe. Yeah. Create the new ritual. It's literally a 10-10 portal. All of you, I invite you to script and curate a new plan for yourself moving forward. All of you. Put it on paper. If you got a digital, why is it or whatever, put it into your calendar. And if you don't do it, ask yourself why you didn't do it. If you don't feel called to do it, ask yourself why you don't feel like being called to do it, right? So thankful that I do not have a sleep schedule and that I can sleep as long as I would like and wake up whenever I feel. Feels good to get off the clock and get more into a rhythm of the universe. Yeah, it depends on what you're manifesting in your path, for sure. I mean, as someone like myself who practices Ayurveda, like sleep schedules are important for energy as well. Right? Like it's the balance would be in rising with the sun and sleeping with the sun, because that's your cyclical nature. It's not necessarily seeing the sunrise and then still be sleeping. That's not a cyclical nature. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying, having the freedom to rest if you need to. But then there's also the question of like, what did I need? What did I do that requires extra rest? Right? It's less about putting the Band-Aid on it. Why is it that some, like what's actually happening in your life that is requiring that? You're so sweet. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate it. I've been waiting for the world to just do it for me in divine timing, but I'm also knowing I haven't shielded before, so it triggers me to be back in society. Yeah. There is no waiting. Waiting is not a thing in like spirituality. It is a bypassing thing. And it's not like towards you, but just for everybody. The realities exist. So we take the path to it, but we don't wait for things. Because if you are thinking that, you halt it. So you are in the energy of flowing. There's no waiting. Like even when we say divine timing, all that stuff, it's what divine timing is code for is you healing, because time doesn't really exist. So you healing is the flow and the path of living out the sequences that already exist. So when we go on a flow and you think about waiting, you do this instead of going through the sequences that are already there, right? It's a sequence of living. Do, 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 do. Yeah, and ask yourself what kind of triggers too. If there are emotional triggers, it's emotional work. There will be energetic things, but there is also emotional work to be had depending on the type of trigger. So definitely write down like the circumstance, see where you felt, what was going on, and write down whether or not you feel like it is an energetic thing or isn't an emotional trigger. Right? Because those are different. And people don't always want to talk about the emotional triggers because they sometimes, not saying you're doing this, but sometimes there is a lens in spirituality to be like, people are sending me negative energy or they're doing this. It's like, or you're emotionally triggered and you are perceiving the situation that way. So what are your tangible facts that are making you feel this way? Right? And then there's also looking at the energetic side. But when you are going on your healing journey, just make sure you have that clarity so you're not reconditioning yourself that certain situations are not exactly what they truly are. So pay attention to the types of situations that you're being triggered in. Let me know if that makes sense. I was burning myself out daily and I'm not that same person. It triggered me when you said I could have an income again. I'm redefining what it means to have an income also. Yeah. And sometimes it's the reality of things, right? Like when I was building my business, someone told me when you're ready to have the income, the income's there. Because that's how energy works. And in me, it was like, how dare they say, you know, and it was like, or I could hear what they were saying and take it in and be like, where am I not allowing myself to have this income? Where am I allowing myself to not experience bliss? Where? Right? Because we are the reality that is reflected back to us. So we have to remember the choices that we make. And sometimes growth happens within triggers, right? Shifting beyond that reality of things happen to me and being in the reality of like, I can create when I'm ready to create. And going on the sequences of life. And remembering that capacity to create. And again, that's why I connect everybody with earth energy, because earth is creation. Earth is life. The energy in the earth is phenomenal. It sustains itself. The only thing that messes it up is imbalanced people. So plugging into that energy and stability can help really shift your reality in a great way. Okay, flowing. Yes, yes, flowing. Okay, I will keep writing about that too. I definitely have emotional triggers. Yeah, it's meant to come up, right? Everybody has them. And as you go on this journey, right, deeper and more than worthy and all that stuff, like it's going to come up. It's meant to come up. That's what the program is for. That's what this journey is for. So you can unmask what's there and be free of it. Be free of it, but do it with like a little like inspection glass, right? And be like, oh, that's interesting. I was triggered as fuck. Right? Like I say that to my friends all the time. Like if I like, because triggers continue to come up, because the more you expand, the more different like situations you put yourself in. I'm like, I didn't think that was still a trigger. And clearly the fuck it is. I'm gonna go back and handle this. Right? Like sometimes you just have to do. I was telling my friend, I was like, a little bit of version was coming back was like, oh, you think you can just love on me and hold me? Oh, you think you can just be a fabulous friend? Right? Because I'm telling them, I was like, this is, I can witness this energy and be like, okay, we've done this tango. Bye. Yes, I'll pay attention to the situations I'm being triggered in and just journal that too. Absolutely beautiful, Elle. You're going to find a lot of realizations there. That's triggering, isn't it? We are the reality that's reflected back to us. It's like a wake up call and reminder for me. It seems, yeah. Again, that, Jim Carrey thing of like, why did you manifest the crappiest seat in the house? Right? And it's like, I can't help but keep that in my head anytime I think of something where I'm like, why did I manifest that? I didn't know better. I just was like, oh, I'm going to create and I'm going to not be specific. And then I'm going to, it's like, yeah, it manifests. And then I need to go back and make improvements for my next manifestation. But people think that didn't turn out the way I wanted. Try again. Try again. Change your reality. You can either focus on the thing that didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, or you can focus on the fact that it came to you and now you try again. Right? It's not about like shaming yourself and no, sequences of life. Get up, do it again, try again. What did you learn? Go live your life. Keep going. Have fun. Right? It's the flow. I can choose. I have a big kind heart, and that means I can care. Absolutely, I can choose what's best for me at the same time. What do I want my reality to look like? I'm holding on to fears still, definitely. Yeah. Choose your reality. What is it like? Choose your adventure, like in video games. Choose your adventure. Pick which reality you want. But honestly, we do like being in divine flow and living within bliss requires getting up. Try again. Look again. Perfect it. It's a practice. Manifestation is a muscle. Ascending is a muscle, right? You're not going to get it right. You're not going to fly straight. I was just telling someone, I was like, yeah, they're, people who come into More Than Worthy, it's like sometimes they're the baby bird that's like halfway out the nest and thought they could fly, but then they got caught up and then, they got all these scraggle wings. And it's like, sometimes that's the case and that's totally fine. And it's like, I'm just going to help you for like 6 months. And then you can just like fly out of this nest, right? And never look back. But we have to be open to these experiences and go with the sequence of life. And just a reminder for folks, like you're all welcome to apply for More Than Worthy. It's 6 months of deep healing and mentorship and a full look at your entire life and how you show up in the world so you can make these quantum leaps for yourself. And within 6 months, I can see how you show up and see all the aspects of you that you're not fully seeing and gently guide you to where you need to go. It's a really beautiful program. It's meant to be the foundation of your entire life. So not only that, it's going to teach you who you truly are with your ancestors' help, with your guides' help, and learning about food and your body and how your body is supposed to actually run, and how you can help yourself with mental health and also your spiritual activism, right? Especially if you feel called to show up in different spaces and you have access to the Divine Academy, so you still get to be with a group if you choose to, or if you're like, no, I prefer one-on-one, that's exactly what it is. So I highly recommend people apply if you're ready to start that journey. I have spots open, and I'm very, very excited about it. And one of my things that I always say is like, you can either continue to do things alone or you can have someone to help you achieve it faster, and to do it with a community that actually loves you and understands you and can help you curate the life that you are wanting, right? Curate what you are actually wanting, not just living by whatever means that you have right now, right? It's having guidance, it's having clear steps to move forward. That's why we work together. It's a co-creation. And in that chat and on that application, you be as honest as possible, because it's about you. You're only going to receive as much as you put in. Same thing with the universe, right? It's no coincidence you are here. So if anybody needs extra help, I highly recommend you join More Than Worthy. It's an amazing program. I love it. And I created it for all of you because I had seen myself go through this generational healing journey, and I went through all the pain and the heartache and trying to figure things out and how to manifest, how to feed myself, pulling myself out of poverty, pulling myself out of houselessness. That's why I work with also people who have been houseless before, or have experienced very deep trauma to their body, witnessed things that they can't unsee, right? Because I had been there, I had gone through it. And so I can help you work through all of these things. It's a very safe container. And then you have the beautiful Z School for the Gifted as your community of people who are not going to gaslight you about your gifts. I'm feeling emotional triggers today. I keep thinking about going out to buy food, and it's making me want to avoid dealing with it because the emotions. No wonder I've been in these cycles for so long. Yeah, it's time for a new leaf. It's time for a new leaf. Remember what we talked about last night in Z School for the Gifted, right? You can do this, Elle. You've got this. Give yourself the option. Give yourself permission to try. Right? We have to give ourselves permission to start over, to try again, to feel into the energy. In order to live the better life and to change our reality, we have to make better choices. Right? Asking ourselves, if I make this choice, is this the choice that aligns me with where I want to go? Or if I make this choice, does it align me with my past? And again, sometimes you have to do it scared. Many moments I did lots of things scared. Asking for help, looking at my bank account, having no money, wondering how I'm going to feed myself. Of course I was scared, but I had to make different decisions. I knew it came down to a life or death type of thing in many situations. And so I would pray, and I would give myself the grace, and I would show myself compassion, and I would get back up and try again. I would get back up. It became a habit of getting back up, expanding, getting back up and expanding, getting back up and expanding. So then after a while, I was so high up on these stairs of ascension that I could just be up here. I didn't have to go back to the past, because I would get up and take another step, and I would get up and take another step. Maybe I would go down 5, and then I would get up and take another step. And then before you know it, I was in the light. I had made it out. I had made it out of my hardship. I had made it out of all this pain. I had made it out of all the abuse. I had made it out of so many things. But I had to always try. That was a promise that I made to myself, and I anchored it into my body. And it's still something I carry with me every single day. And even if there's something that triggers me and brings back, PTSD, right? I was talking about that in some of the Mango Men and other manifestations, things that I had experienced, right? Even if I was having panic attacks, it doesn't mean I wasn't going to get up and try again the next day. It doesn't mean I'm not going to accidentally slip, or it doesn't mean I'm not going to accidentally overwork and forget to eat or put myself in situations of scarcity, right? It doesn't, but it means that I have the tools to be able to get back up and take one more step. So you have to take the step over and over and over again before it becomes a language of just moving forward with the sequence of life. Yes, I physically don't feel good. The emotions bombard me, but I know I can do it anyways. I've done it so many times. Yeah, go for a walk. You will make yourself physically sick. It happens. It's quite common. You will make yourself physically sick. Yeah, look at how far you've come. The universe sent you fairy teacher Z. Thanks, Sawadi. Yes, I'm always here to help. Absolutely. Very inspiring. You can do this, Elle. You can do this. Get your stuff, stand at the door, open it, and just walk outside. Take some deep breaths. And take another step. And take another step. One more step to the car. Another step. And another step. Another step. And then sit in the car. And take some deep breaths. Turn on the car. Take some more deep breaths. Right? Sometimes you have to be really gentle with yourself. I used to do that all the time, no matter what. No matter what. With a lot of the body trauma too, it was like, how do I go outside? How do I trust people? How do I even look at my body with all the bruises and the cuts, right? It was like, one more time. Bandage yourself one more time. You got this. Get up one more time. Buy the dress, even if it feels not quite right yet. Right? Like, put yourself out there one more time. Just one more time. One more time. I give myself permission one more time to try again. Hi, Jamila. Resting on the couch. Good. You've been busy. Happy 1010 portal. Reminder, everyone who's at Z School for the Gifted, I sent the email last night if you need anything. Next week, we're going to be going over the do's and don'ts of candle magic, candle work. So make sure you bring a white candle. We're going to be doing an activity together. The link is going to be in the description if you want to join a class, or you can check out any of my bios. It's on Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday is usually where there's more people. Wednesday, like, because the class is intended to be taken in the evening. Wednesday is usually for Africa and UK. But if you're in the US and you can only make it Wednesday, you're definitely welcome to come to that as well. And since it was asked today and I forgot to share, folks, if you miss a class or know that you're not going to be able to attend one, but you want the slides and things like that, you just have to book your spot for that class. And if you don't show up, I will still have your email to be able to send you the information. So just make sure that you book your spot for that class, right? If there's going to be a concept that is taught that day, then I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be able to send you meditations and things like that, but I will be able to send you the notes and slide decks and things like that. Yes, Jamila, it's 10:10. I'm sitting on the grass taking in some awesome and sweet breeze. Ooh, beautiful. Does anybody have questions before we get going? I'm going to head out. And stay tuned for a very fun episode of the Mango Men and Other Manifestations. It's going to be a little raunchy. Surprise. I can't wait to talk about it with you all. It's going to be a tad raunchy. Just a tad. NC-17. There's also a feature on Substack where I could post things for subscribers, like private subscribers. So I think I might do both. Like, I might post something for regular subscribers and then a little extra treat for the paid ones. If you really like that raunch. It's going to be a fun ride. I'm super excited. I had to shift some of the days around. So if you see that happening on the calendar, it's because I'm literally moving things around for a business, but the classes will all stay the same. Thank you, Z. Thanks, everyone. We got this. Can't wait for it. Yay, you got this. Everybody's got this. We love raunchy. Yes, I know. I'm excited. I wanted to mix in some things along the way. Just really quickly, have any of you read the last chapter? It was a deep chapter. It was a deep chapter. And now I'm about to hit you with some raunch. I highly recommend you listen to the last chapter. Tune in, tap in. Ooh. I'm excited for this next chapter. I'm so excited, everybody. Need to go read. Yeah, catch up on the last chapter. It's very deep. This last chapter was super deep. Last two were very deep. As I mentioned, I try to make sure I am a writer who expresses a breadth of things. And I believe in books also being avenues for healing. And so I didn't want every chapter to just be, the other stuff. I wanted it to really get to the heart of things as well, because within a lot of everyone's journeys, you experience different things. So I wanted to share a lens on like what also has happened to me in my life, and hope that it inspires somebody else to honor their own story. But this next one is definitely going to be raunchy. So get ready. Yes, I did. Oh, yay, Elle. Thanks for tuning in. Definitely I enjoy though. Yes, it's going to be fun. And okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, Mango Men and Other Manifestations are based on real people. And I haven't been going live, but this next following Friday, I'm going to be going live to talk about this raunchy chapter and anything else we have not talked about up until this point. So next Friday, it's going to be all about Mango Men manifestations for self-love, Shakti Day. And I'm going to be throwing in something extra for this next chapter, which I feel like is going to be really funny. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny. Because I did make that joke of, seeing if I could get everybody whose story was in that book, the book that I'm currently writing. And there's someone who was fine with it, because how I told you I was going to ask people. I didn't ask everybody because I don't want to talk to everybody, but I did ask someone, and it was fun. So I think I'm going to be sharing that with everybody. So make sure you catch up on the chapters. Again, this next one's going to be quite raunchy. So if you are not the raunchy type, I suggest you go away and not read it. Not go away, but you know what I mean. Of course, thank you. Definitely inspiring. I cried. Oh, Nia, thank you for sharing that. It was an interesting chapter to write. Yeah. Blackbird was a confirmation for me too. Oh, see, this is why I write and live so divinely, because you never know who's going to read it or what's going to happen. Claps. Yeah, I know. So sweet. I love it. I truly enjoyed writing this last chapter. It had, especially the last two, but this one had a very different tone, and it was a magical experience. And again, just a reminder to all of you, because I know you are creatives and things like that. Like, it's important for you to share your gifts. It's important for you to share your gifts. And I'm also excited because I'm going to take these chapters and turn them into a hard copy. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be really fun. I'm excited. So always listen to your intuition, follow your guidance. And oh yeah, everybody, don't forget to pre-save my new song. It's really important that you pre-save it. It drops on 11/11. It helps the algorithm on Spotify. I'm actually doing a launch on Spotify for this one. I'd originally done like with some of my other songs, like did paid advertising. I didn't like it. And so I was just launching it on YouTube and I stopped doing stuff with Spotify. Because it felt not genuine. I'm frozen and so itchy from these mosquitoes. So I'm going to head out, everybody. I'm sending you lots of love, lots of hugs. Take care of yourself. It was amazing to see you all. Don't forget to apply for More Than Worthy, especially if you're in C School for the Gifted. You have access to that tier 3. Other folks do not have access to that tier 3, and it will be changing mid-November. So now's the opportunity to hop in if you can. And that is it, my friends. Have a beautiful weekend. Stay happy, stay bright, or cry. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want, but make sure you get outside, live in your divine flow, and manifest that bliss. Okay, everybody. I will see you later.